Hello everyone, and welcome to our channel, Cooking with Randy and Norm. I'm Norm.
I'm Randy.
And today we are going to be preparing
our chocolate turtles. It's a favorite dessert that we like making to share with our family, friends, and our co-workers. We start with packaged caramels. The hardest part of this job, I guess, would be unwrapping each individual caramel. We just take and we start opening our package. Together we begin unwrapping the caramels individually. Sometimes I'm faster than Norman, sometimes not. We just continue the process, just unwrapping caramels until we have everything done. And then we'll move to the process of pouring it into the pan to start melting. And as I said, these are a little tedious. I'm sure you can buy these already opened up in bulk packaging, but we feel like we've tried several different caramels and Kraft's always worked out the best flavor. They melt really well, so it's kind of like they say, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Okay, so now that we've completely unwrapped the caramels, we're going to start with our first batch. So what we've done is we've taken a double broiler and we're going to turn our heat on to low setting. We're going to let the water come up to a melting temperature, and we're going to dump the first batch of caramels. This recipe calls for 2 11-ounce bags of caramels per batch, along with 3 cups of pecans finely chopped. We'll show you the chopping process once we get finished with the melting of the caramels. Okay, the water is coming up to a melting temperature, so we're going to go ahead and add our 2 11-ounce bags of caramels so that they can slowly start to melt, and to prepare the process so that we can add the pecans. Okay, so as our caramels are starting to melt, I'm going to take and add some regular whipping cream, approximately 4 tablespoons to the caramels to help in the process of the melting. It also will make the caramels much creamier and way smoother before we add the pecans. Okay, now that the caramels completely melted, we're going to go ahead and finely chop 3 cups of pecans to add to the mixture. I just put them on a cutting board, take a heavy knife, and just kind of let it just rock back and forth. Again, they don't need to be too crumbly, just some pieces. This is probably about where they can be. Some people like their pecans a little chunkier than they do if they're more powdery. So at this point now, we've finished chopping our pecans, so we'll add them to our caramel. Okay, now the caramel has come to a complete melt. You can see the texture of the caramel, how nice and smooth it is. So I'm just going to take this and remove it from the water over to a safe area. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to add 3 cups of finely chopped pecans to the mixture. I'm just going to put in a few at a time and get them evenly coated. Be careful, this is really hot. You don't want to burn yourself. As you can see, the caramel is engulfing the pecans and becoming really gooey. This is exactly what you want to see. It smells wonderful. Too bad we don't have smell-o-vision here. Okay, I'm going to just continue stirring this. You want to just take and fold. You want to be sure that you get all the pecans coated evenly. Okay, I'm going to continue adding a few more. I'm going to continue to stir, making sure that each pecan is coated. And again, be really careful because this pan can still be hot. Okay, so now the mixture is stirred together. The pecans are evenly coated. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking a baking sheet. It really doesn't matter the size, just whatever you can get that will fit your oven. I have found over the years making these pecan turtles that having the silicone baking sheets in the pan works much better than trying to align your pan with wax paper or parchment paper. So they make several different size cookie dough spatulas, I guess that's what you call these. I have personally found that this one's about probably 1.5 ounce. It seems to work the best. And so what you do, you just take and dip out a fairly full scoop and then just dump it to your parchment paper or your silicone liner, and this will flatten out itself. You can change the size. It just depends on how large you want your pecan turtles to be. We find that this works fairly well. I usually leave them about 1 inch apart because, like I say, they will spread out and you don't want them to run together. You want them to be very pretty when you dip them in your chocolate. Once I get this pan completely filled, I'm going to take and place this in the refrigerator. And usually I leave them in overnight, and then the next day I will dip them in the chocolate. Okay, so now we're going to transfer these to the refrigerator so that they can chill. And again, you could let them stay in there for a couple of hours and dip, but I prefer to let them set overnight and really get firm, and then we'll just take them out in the morning and dip them in chocolate. So now that we have the pecan turtles in the refrigerator, before we pull them back out to dip, you want to be sure and get you a double boiler going. You want to be sure that your temperature is on very low. This is a fairly slow process, but once your chocolates melt, it's going to go pretty quick. We use Ghirardelli dark chocolate as our dipping chocolate. It's got a good taste and it has a very nice finish. So we're just going to start by pouring in 2 bags of our dark chocolate wafers, and as our water continues to heat up, we'll stir these until they've completely melted. So now the chocolate has completely melted. As you can see, we have a great smooth texture. We've removed the pecan turtles from the refrigerator. They've set up to a hard consistency. And now we're just going to get ready to start dipping. We have another tray with a silicone pad. And as you can hear, Mochaccino's wanting to help. Mocha, you have to wait. Now that we're ready to start dipping, Norman's going to dip into the chocolate. He finds it a lot easier to just use a fork. And as you can see, it's a little messy, but it's a lot of fun. He's a lot better at this than I am. So he's just going to let some of the excess run off of the turtles. And once it seems to have completely run off, he will lay it over onto the rubber pad on the tray so that they can start setting up. This process goes fairly fast. It takes just a little bit of time, but let us get a few more dipped and we'll show you the finished results. Okay, and as you see, it is definitely a slow process, but it's a very rewarding one. We're almost halfway there with the first pan. We'll show you a few more as we continue the process. Norman's very careful to shake some of the excess chocolate off of the fork. Be really careful at this point. You don't want the turtle to fall back in the mud. Okay, so we've just finished the first tray of pecan turtles. This is how they look when they're completely dipped. As you can see, we have some that are still wet, and you see the ones that have started drying. We'll put these in the refrigerator. We'll let them set for a couple of hours, and then they'll be ready to box up for our family, friends, and coworkers. Now that the turtles have settled and set up, we're ready to start packaging up for our friends, family, and coworkers. You can pick up different size and type boxes. We ordered these online and picked some of them up at our local dollar store. The size just depends on how many turtles you want to give to a person. You just start with a box, different size liners for the box. I always place a liner in the bottom of the box, and then just slightly place 4 pecan turtles in the bottom of the box. I come back with another layer of parchment paper, and again you just keep continuing with the amount and the number of turtles that you want to present into a box. Once this is done, I just put a name tag or a pretty bow on the package, and then they're ready to give. Thanks for watching our video. We ask that you like, subscribe, and share. We look forward to upcoming videos, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. See you soon.